Welcome again to another TerranScapes video. This one is depicting a modification of the river pieces. Customer contacted me and wanted the muddy river scheme that I had done previously as a custom request. One of the things that I didn't like about the past attempt is I didn't tint the resin very heavily, and what I did is, it'll probably be better to show on something like this, is I painted it lighter browns on the outside going into a darker center, and then glossed it with a lightly tinted resin cover to give it that shiny effect. And I just felt like it looked a little bit too forced for depth effect, and I've been trying to experiment with some new techniques in applying the resin. And what I decided this time was to go for a much heavier tint on the resin and then do some modification of the actual surface of the resin, and which I think shows up fairly well here, so that it could have some undulations in it, which would hopefully produce some thin and some thick spots. I'll set this up here so I can point to it. Wait a minute, not too bright. And I think you can see here that where the resin thinned out, some of the underlying color comes through, and then some of the thicker areas, and I was hoping that it would predominantly be thicker in the center so it would keep it a little bit darker, and I think it achieved that effect fairly well. This is the first time I've really tried to do this on a finished piece with this sort of waving effect in the resin, and I did do a test piece before, and here you can see using some blue tint, and you can see in that angle that there's quite a bit of undulation in that, and I was very pleased with that effect. But this is a bit of a thicker application than I normally put on the river pieces, partly because I don't, it can't pour off the edges, and I don't want to create a dam at the end. And I find that with thicker amounts of the resin, you get a little bit of a dimple at the edge. So I may, in future iterations of this, I may increase the thickness of the resin a little bit more. But like I said, I really was hoping to get some of that welling effect that you see in a river as things move along. Underwater rocks cause it to ripple up and flow in a different way at the surface. And I wanted to use a much heavier tint in it to give it that depth without seeing the bottom really, which I think is a little bit more realistic. Now here you can see this piece didn't pick up quite as much of the undulations as I had hoped for. So I've clearly got a little bit more to learn. This is a technique which I'd like to move towards for all of my water features. So you'll definitely be seeing new versions of this as time goes on. Here's another piece just to give you that idea. You can see there is some movement in that surface, and then when the light catches it, just like that, there you go, it gleams off the water in a much more scattered way, which I think really reflects the way water looks when the sun is striking it, which I think adds to its realistic effect. So overall, not a bad first attempt, but definitely I'm looking forward to future attempts to improve this, and I may offer this as an option on water features, particularly if you've already purchased some river pieces, whether it's blue or muddy color, and you want them to match the previous version. This technique might not match it exactly, although I can do it in a little bit lighter effect, but I'd like to have more undulations even than you see in future pieces, although I have to say some of them came out really, really well, and I think overall it looks, like I said, quite a bit more realistic than the previous gradual shading in from the sides. So this is just a short video just to show you those pieces. Hope you've enjoyed it. Maybe draw a little inspiration for yourself. If you'd like to go to TerranScapes and see all the other products that are in the terrain line, you can always go to TerranScapes.com. And of course I encourage you to subscribe to the videos so that you can see the future videos as they're released for new pieces, new techniques, custom projects, and the like. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.